Hello and Merry Christmas. You know, it happens every single year. People message me primarily on Facebook and say, hey Jeff, I'm thinking of getting my kid a new video game for Christmas. Which one do you recommend? And I hammer out all these messages. We go back and forth, and then end up buying something that I told them not to buy. But that's okay, because they're all good. They're all good. Let me get that out of the way. Whether you're looking at an Xbox One, a PlayStation 4, or a Nintendo Switch, they're all good. I'm gonna give you a pro and con of each one, and you can come to your own decision, and I will give my ultimate decision on what I think you should buy this Christmas season. I should get out of the way. All these consoles play Fortnite. Okay, so if your kid wants to play Fortnite, Fortnite is on every single one of these. Let's start with the Xbox One. A pro about the Xbox One is that it has something called Xbox Game Pass. And it's like, think of Netflix for games, but there's like 100 games on there for, I wanna say it's around 13 bucks a month, which I know you're thinking, oh, another subscription service, it's the last thing I need. But one game costs about 80 bucks. You can subscribe to a year for, 130 or something like that. I don't know the exact numbers. I'll put them on here. It pays for itself, and it's an awesome thing. So check out Xbox and Game Pass. It has a great library of games. One of the cons of the Xbox is they're gonna release a new one next year. They're gonna release a follow-up to the Xbox One, so it's in its last days. So if this whole Game Pass thing sounds good and your son or daughter has all friends who are on Xbox, then yeah, get an Xbox. But just buy the regular edition. Don't buy the Xbox One X, which is the more expensive one, because I think that's just a bad idea at this point with the new console coming out next year. Let's move on to the PlayStation 4. Might become the best-selling console of all time. It might surpass the PlayStation 2. That's how successful the PlayStation 4 is. Tons of games. You can buy games cheap. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace. You can find them in pawn shops. PlayStation 4 is a great console. It's everywhere. You can't go wrong. Stick with the winner. PlayStation 4 is good. One of the cons to the PlayStation 4 is it also is in its last days. The PlayStation 5 is coming out next year. If you're going to give this to your son or daughter and find out, March, April when they debut this thing, or they make the official, announcement or unveiling, oh man, we just bought our son a PlayStation 4, now this PlayStation 5 is coming out. If that's going to be you, then maybe you want to hold off and tell your son or daughter, I don't think we can do it this year. You have enough screen time. You can come up with all kinds of excuses. There are two PlayStation 4s. There's the regular edition and there's the Pro. I would not buy the Pro at this point because the PlayStation 5 is coming out next year. So don't spend the extra money on a Pro. That's for a completely different audience. And finally, we come to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch is an awesome console. It can be taken with you on the go for road trips. It can be docked and played on your TV. It has an amazing software library. Again, you can play Fortnite on there. Nintendo's the only one where you're going to find games like Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros., Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda. That's the only place you're going to find those games. And those exclusives are what keeps Nintendo so popular and their fan base so rabid. Now let's look at some cons of the Nintendo Switch. First of all, the games are really expensive. The games are all about $80 here in Canada, and they very rarely go on sale. Why? It's because they're all good. And people don't want to sell them. People don't play Mario Kart for 3 months and sell it. They play Mario Kart forever, for years and years and years. Same thing with Super Smash Bros. And Super Mario Odyssey. You very rarely find those games drop below 60 bucks. Even on your marketplaces, your Facebook marketplaces, your pawn shops, they all hold their value, which is good, but you gotta pay up front. Another con to the Nintendo Switch is it's the least powerful of all these machines. Now, it's really cool that you can take these games on the go with you. That's one of the things that makes the Switch special. But if your son or daughter plays Fortnite all the time on his friend's PlayStation 4 and comes home and plays it on his Switch, he might say, Dad, this doesn't look so good. Maybe he won't. Maybe he won't even notice it. But to me, the differences are quite noticeable. We're going to wrap this up. And I'm going to give my final opinion on which console I think you should buy or anyone should buy this Christmas season. The Jeff Hoffman recommendation to just about any family this Christmas season is the Nintendo Switch. It has a great library of games. With Nintendo games, a lot of the times they're published or made by Nintendo, your Marios, your Zeldas, that type of thing. You don't have to worry about content. You don't have to worry about graphic violence or cursing, anything like that. It has the most family-friendly games. If you're going to be playing it as a family, it has the most 4-player games. Mario Kart's 4-player, Super Smash Brothers 4-player. Even games that are traditionally single player, they've thrown some multiplayer aspects in. So to make the games, well, better for families. So moms and dads can play with their kids, or brother and sister. Although in my case, brother and brother, which leads to fighting. So it's not always, sometimes I wish these games were single player. Okay, Merry Christmas everybody, hope that helps. Goodbye everybody!